We're getting through these huge updates from Best Car Magazine, looking forward into the next couple of years of these amazing models coming out. I'm excited for the new Harrier, even though we're not going to get the new Harrier / Venza here, but I'm excited for it because it's debuting new powertrains. Watch my Corolla video, watch my GR86 video. I mean, I'll have to do another video probably on Nissan. Maybe Honda, because I mean, I was just at CES where they revealed the production version of this, but they're talking about this little guy down below that I saw at Japan Mobility Show 2023. Mitsubishi is going to get a dedicated video because they're one of the more exciting. Believe it or not, Mitsubishi, fine. It's not that we're talking about performance, guys. We're not talking about 3000 GTs or Eclipses or Lancer Evolutions. We're not talking about that, but they're getting their rugged game on. Off-roading minivan, Delica's coming to the United States. Can't wait to make a dedicated video on that, as well as the rebirth of the Pajero / Montero. Guys, you came here, you clicked for this, the return of the RX-7. And might as well, let's talk about the Supra. Let's see what they have to say about the new Supra as well. Guys, if you are excited, I think there's another scan after this. Maybe we'll cover that today too. So stay to the end for that. But we're going to start things off with the RX-7. But if you're excited, smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe because I got more to cover, more things to do. I'm leaving in 2 days to drive the new 4Runner. So stay tuned for that coverage. That embargo should be ending by the end of this month. They're saying 2027 is when this car will be available, the new RX-7, with a reveal in 2026. They do say rotary, but remember when I was lucky enough to debut for you guys the iconic SP when David Chow and I went to Japan for the Japan Mobility Show. Mazda blew our socks off with the iconic SP concept. And they're like, hey, it's going to be a plug-in hybrid with a rotary range extender. And while David and I were not excited with that prospect of a powertrain, we were tickled and blown away by the design of the iconic SP. Will we have the flip-up butterfly sort of doors? I highly doubt it. Will we have the rotary? Well, it seems like it, and it's not. Let's see what they say. I'm hoping it's not going to be rotary range extender because, yeah, that's not what we're looking for here for a sports car. All right, so this first part is mainly talking about Toyota's next gen BEVs coming in 2027. We're not here for that. So let's keep reading it down to the RX-7. I thought this was all RX-7. Fortunately, it's not. It's just this little tiny paragraph. So it is said to be a series hybrid electric vehicle that uses a newly developed rotary engine exclusively for power generation. This is where the but comes in. Best Car predicts that will be a parallel hybrid that also uses rotary engine for driving force. It is a 2-seater coupe with front-wheel drive. No, it's going to be front engine, rear-wheel drive. So that's kind of disappointing. So what do we have to go off of? And this is what you should get excited over. So let me pull it up. At the multi-pathway workshop with Subaru and Toyota, Mazda showed this. Here's a twin rotor engine, and in the back we have an electric motor. So it's going to be a parallel or a series parallel hybrid that in theory should be very similar to what we have with like a Toyota 2.4 turbo hybrid that you see on the Tacoma. All right, so you have the engine in front. In theory, you'll have an electric motor, and then what they do behind the electric motor is a mystery. Could they just put an eCVT in there? Yes, but that would just destroy the fun of the vehicle. Mazda knows that. That's why there are no CVTs I'm aware of in Mazda's global lineup, other than the eCVT and the Toyota powered CX-50 hybrid. Anyways, so they could put a 6-speed manual behind this. They could put an 8-speed automatic, probably what they would do because they have an 8-speed automatic inside of the CX-90 through CX-60. So that would be my bet, the 8-speed auto. But unfortunately, Best Car doesn't give us much here. And I hate to burst your bubble, but we're going to keep moving on. This car should be coming in 2027. Will they have the pop-up headlights? Maybe. Honda just showed off the sliding covers or the eyelids of the 0 Series Saloon has that sort of technology. Anyways, what are they saying about the Supra? Is there anything new here? Full model change 2027. There should be no collaboration with BMW. Next generation hybrid with the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo is likely a candidate. Output of 400 horsepower and system output around 500 horsepower. The 2-seater front rear layout will be the same as the current model, but the next model will be developed by Toyota alone. Also reports of a carbon fiber propeller shaft will be used. What's the purpose of that? Well, it's really strong. It reduces weight mainly. That's the main point for carbon fiber propeller shaft. So no new information there. But 500 horsepower in the new Supra is pretty exciting. What kind of power could we see from the RX-7? I have no idea. My guess it would be a turbo rotary engine around 300 horsepower, maybe a little bit more. This thing's very small. It should be very lightweight, but so will the Supra, and the Supra will have a lot more performance. These are both, in theory, hybrids coming from Mazda and Toyota. One using a new inline-4 turbo, one using a twin rotor turbo. Really no estimations, interestingly, from Best Car. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing. Should we keep moving? Because we got other things to talk about, like the Celica here. Do we have any information on the Celica? Which, remember, the last time we talked about the Celica, they and Toyota are seemingly merging the MR2 and the Celica together, which is quite bizarre. Nakajima himself declared the revival of the Celica. This is true. He's Toyota's vice president. Development is still in the early stages. It's likely the car will not be released until 2027 at the earliest. Will be equipped with the next generation 2-liter turbo that we just talked about in the Supra, and it will be a pure engine vehicle, not a hybrid. Hallelujah. It will also be a midship 4-wheel drive with a manual transmission. So think of GR Corolla mid-engine, which actually, ironically, Toyota showed a mid-engine GR Corolla with this 2-liter turbo at the Tokyo Auto Salon this month. All right, so I think that's a bit of a teaser of what's to come. But 4-wheel drive manual transmission, yeah, I'm excited for it. It's kind of like a mid-engine GR Corolla with a bigger engine. What's wrong with that? Although it is unclear whether it will be released in 2027, Toyota is also planning a full-scale BEV sports car. The most likely candidate is the commercial version of FTSE that was unveiled at the 23 Japan Mobility Show. Yes, David and I showed you this vehicle. He thought it was more of a Supra. I thought it was more of an MR2. Who knows what Toyota is going to do with this thing. Maybe they're saving the MR2 naming for this, and maybe they put solid-state batteries in here. That's a possibility. And maybe they're saving the Celica name for the gasoline engine. I'm not quite sure. The Estima / Previa should be coming out. The Super Egg, the Wonder Egg, what was formerly a mid-engine all-wheel drive available turbo diesel, whatever, like supercharged. You get this thing in all sorts of configurations. But the Estima is coming out. Japan got 2 more generations than we did. We just got the first generation. It's going to be front engine, plug-in hybrid, or battery electric. And I hope it comes to the United States. It'd be fun to have some quirky minivans that give competition to the ID Buzz. I think people would lose their mind if the Previa came back to America. I could care less about the Sienna. The Sienna has a lot of flaws to it. The only thing going for the Sienna, in my opinion, is its crazy fuel economy. I would take the Honda Odyssey every day of the week outside of fuel economy. But if fuel economy is important to you, you don't have a lot of options out there. I guess you have the new Carnival, but Toyota's hybrid system is it's much more proven than Hyundai and Kia's. I'm praying to the gods of Mount Fuji that it comes out. What is Lexus working on? Well, also the Japan Mobility Show were these 2 models, the LFZC and the LFZL. The LFZC, the production version of it, whatever it's going to be called, is coming in 2027. It's been delayed. It was supposed to be 2026, but they're like, hey, BEVs, they're not super desirable as most of the manufacturers thought they were going to be. So Toyota, Lexus, kind of pumping the brakes. They don't need to rush it to the market. They're calling this the successor to the IS. I'm not so sure about that, but it is about the same size of the IS, which makes it interesting. And it's just too busy of a design. I'll go and put on the screen the IS design that came out in 2021. Why can't we get that sort of design on this vehicle or for this size of vehicle? No one is impressed with the LFZC's style, or at least, I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but I'm not compared to the previous designs on the IS EVs. Anyways, software-defined vehicle. It will have Arene software, steer-by-wire, next-gen technology. So nothing new there. What about the LFZL? This thing's really, really ugly. I hope they don't bring this to the production. But this is supposedly the flagship SUV. In theory, it could replace something like the LS, because the LS sedan, sales are not good on it. Toyota and Lexus have just kind of left it out there to die. And it kind of died when it lost the V8, in my opinion, anyways. All right, and the hybrid's not very impressive on it either. But they're saying this is four-wheel drive BEV, using next generation platform, Direct 4, large backseat space, long wheelbase. There's nothing new there either, but they're just saying this vehicle is coming out. This is more exciting. This electrified sports. Let's read into it. Next generation BEV using a newly developed dedicated platform. Now, is it the same platform as these vehicles down here? Probably. But Toyota said they wouldn't bring this vehicle out, or should I say, it was it's now CEO Koji Sato, CEO actually of Toyota. But when this vehicle debuted, he was president of Lexus at the time. He was saying that this vehicle wouldn't come out without solid state batteries. I don't think this is coming in 2027. I think it could come in 28, 29, maybe. Yeah, 1,000 horsepower. That's all great and dandy. Maybe I can talk about this because I'm not going to make a video just on the Starlet. The Starlet is not going to come to America, unfortunately. This would be a micro hot hatch, but they are going to have GR versions and non-GR versions. Again, we're not going to get it, but let's read about it. They're saying that they're going to put a 1.3 liter inline 3 cylinder turbo, downsized from the 1.6 liter turbo that we see in the GR Corolla and the GR Yaris. They're saying the body size is the same as the Yaris, which means we're not going to get it. Toyota killed the Yaris years back here for the States. They're estimating the little 1.3 liter turbo would produce 150 horsepower. Here's the thing. Let's just do some math. We have 300 horsepower coming from 1.6 liters. So that's 187 horsepower per liter. So if we multiply that times 1.3, that should be about 240 horsepower that they could put into this GR Starlet. 150 horsepower sounds very underwhelming for a GR sports car. A turbocharged GR sports car, but who knows? Maybe they really don't push the boost on this thing, but it could be capable of well over 200 horsepower if they want to boost it as much as the GR Corolla. But yeah, don't want to get too excited. And it'll also be front wheel drive only. In a car this small, if you have some sort of power and torque, it'd probably just be a burnout machine, front wheel drive burnout machine. So maybe they're going to dial that back. That makes sense to me, but they're really leaving a lot of performance on the table compared to the GR Corolla. Next generation SUV BEV. This is the FT3E. This is kind of like a next generation BZ4X. Now remember, if you watch my recent video on the RAV4, the BZ4X and the BZ nomenclature is getting thrown out the window. Toyota's realized it was a big mistake. This sort of vehicle, I don't know what they would call it, because the new RAV4 is going to have a battery electric variant. Anyways, this is going to be sharing the same sort of platform that we just talked about with Lexus, but this vehicle is more in question to me now because of the flexibility of the new K platform, or the revised K platform that the RAV4 will embody. Anyways, Toyota's EVs in general are just kind of in big question mark. They've been pushed back, whether it's the 3-row EV out of Kentucky or the next gen software-defined vehicles built in Japan with gigacasting and things like that under the Lexus badge. So everything's in question for the BEVs, but they're full steam ahead on new engines, new 4-cylinder engines, a 1.5 liter, a 2 liter, and they're full steam ahead on new plug-in hybrid technology as well. And since I probably won't make another video just on these vehicles, let's just knock these out and then close this video down. The new Venza, which we will not be getting, is exciting because this sort of technology, this engine technology, should also be seen in Lexus models. There's a reason the Venza didn't do that well, or should I say was discontinued here. They brought in the Crown models, which I don't know the longevity of the Crown lineup. They just might be one and dones, to be honest, because it was kind of like the wish of Akio Toyota to have Crown be in the spotlight one last time. But the problem with the Crown lineup, is that it's too close to Lexus. That's a problem also with the Harrier slash Venza. Now, this is still sold in Japan. This is not going anywhere. They are working on the next generation, but this sort of technology will not be seen initially. I don't think in the Toyota lineup. It could very well be seen initially, at least stateside, in the Lexus lineup, in a next generation NX, for example, or something like that. All right, so most stylish Harrier ever. It's more of a coupe crossover, which kind of, I mean, the current Venza is a little bit of a coupe crossover. But they're saying the 5th gen Harrier is developing at a rapid pace. The power unit is likely to be the newly developed 4-cylinder, 1.5-liter turbo engine, either in a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid. So hybrid only. 1.5 turbo or 1.5 turbo plug-in hybrid. Of course, it'll be SUV, lower profile in the current model. Why lower profile? Because with this new engine, these new engines are very short, and so they can have lower hood lines, lower center of gravity, perform better, and have better aerodynamic performance as a result. Anyways, here's the new 1.5-liter turbo engine. Actually, this one is a 1.5-liter naturally aspirated in the picture, but they do have a turbo variant of it as well. By taking the advantage of the next generation engine's feature of being more compact and lower in overall height than the current 1.5-liter engine, it is likely to be a more stylish car than any other Harrier model before. The most likely drive system will be the E4, which uses a motor to drive the rear, which that's what it does now. There is no information on a BEV at the moment, but it is possible that it will be available as a BEV, just like the next generation RAV4. The RAV4 will not be getting this 1.5 turbo hybrid. It will be getting the 2.5-liter. That makes sense to me. System output 250 horsepower. That is in the hybrid. They will be able to get more power, more torque out of this hybrid system than the 2.5-liter. Okay. But the 2.5-liter is just simple, should be cheaper to produce, and potentially more reliable with less, doesn't need as much cooling, doesn't need as much piping and turbo stuff. You guys know what I'm saying. So let's keep moving. Now, this, you guys know I love minivans. This was one of the more exciting vehicles that I saw at the Japan Mobility Show, just because it's freaking out there, man. It looks like something stormtroopers will be riding around in. And will we see it in America? Highly doubt it. But we need true minivans here. Our minivans now are no longer mini. They're huge. They're chunky. And that's fine because I need that sort of minivan. But I'd love to have an actual compact minivan for the United States as well, like the Mazda 5 used to be, for example. And the first generation Sienna was a minivan compared to the current generation Sienna. So they're calling it the new Town Ace. That makes sense. They're not going to call it the Koyoi Bako. Look at this. A Koyoi Bako. It's really Koyoi Bako. It's really hard for most people to say. Town Ace is going to be easier. Anyway, they said the concept, the Koyoi Bako, was a BEV, but the commercially available car is likely to be available as a hybrid to cover the wider range of users. The engine will likely be the next generation 1.5-liter naturally aspirated engine, not the turbo that this Harrier slash Venza is going to have. It'll be the naturally aspirated version and hybridized. The body size is about 4,000 millimeters long and about 1,800 millimeters wide. The width may be reduced when it goes on sale. It is suitable not only as a business car but also as a passenger car. In addition to providing comfort for general users, I'd love to have a small hybrid minivan. Again, I doubt that you'd be able to fit. I mean, for the Japanese market, it's different. They might shrink this down so that it's a K van. And if that's the case, it absolutely would not be sold here. I hope it's not shrunk down. Tiny, tiny overhangs. I love this vehicle. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. One, that it comes to production, and two, it comes to the United States. People lose their minds. I would lose my mind over it. All right. It'd be kind of like Toyota's Cybertruck, but it's way cooler than a Cybertruck. So hopefully it comes with a hybrid and maybe a battery electric. I could care less for battery electric, though. I'd rather have the hybrid. But I think I covered all the Toyota stuff on here, all the Mazda stuff, and then I'll have to make a follow-up video on Nissan, maybe Nissan, but definitely Mitsubishi, because Mitsubishi, is going to be coming out with some real cool stuff for our market, not just the global market, but also enforcing and reinforcing their lineup here in the United States. I'll see you in the next video for that. If you guys enjoyed today's video, hit the like button if you haven't, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.